Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to present about the human brain. The human brain. What is the human brain? The human brain is the central organ of the human nervous system, and with the spinal cord makes up the central nervous system. The brain consists of cerebellum, the brainstem, and the cerebellum. It controls most of the activities of the body, processing, integrating, and coordinating the information it receives from the sense organs and making decisions as the instructions sent to the rest of the body. The brain is contained in and protected by the skull bone of the head. Then we got the part of the brain. There are three main parts of the brain. The first part is cerebrum, cerebellum, and the brainstem. First of all, let's talk about cerebrum. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain containing the cerebral cortex, as well as several subcortical structures including the hippocampus, basal ganglia, and the olfactory bulb. In the human brain, the cerebrum is the uppermost region of the central nervous system. The cerebrum develops prenatally from the forebrain. In mammals, the dorsal telecephalon and pallium develops into the cerebral cortex, and the ventral telecephalon and subpallium becomes the basal ganglia. The cerebrum is also divided into approximately symmetric left and right cerebral hemispheres. It performs higher functions like integrating touch, vision, and hearing, as well as speech, reasoning, emotions, learning, and fine controls of the movement. Then we got the second part of the brain. It is cerebellum. Cerebellum is the major feature of all vertebrates, although usually smaller than the cerebellum. In some animals, such as the mammary features, it may be as large as or even larger. In humans, the cerebellum plays an important role in motor control. It may also be involved in some cognitive functions such as attention and language, as well as emotional control, such as regulating the fear pressure responses, but its movement related to functions are more solidly established. The human cerebellum does not initiate movement but contributes to coordination, precision, and accurate timing. It receives input from sensory items of the spinal cord and from other parts of the brain, and integrates these inputs to fine-tune motor activity. Cerebellar damage produces disorders in fine movement, equilibrium, posture, and motor learning in humans. Then let's go to the next slide. Brainstem. Brainstem is the posterior stalk-like part of the brain that connects the cerebrum with the spinal cord. In the human brain, the brainstem is composed of the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla oblongata and midbrain, continuous with the thalamus of the diencephalon through the tentorious notch, and sometimes the diencephalon is included in the brainstem. The brainstem is very small, making up around only 2.6% of the brain's total weight. It has the critical roles of the regulating cardiac and respiratory function, helping to the control heart rate and breathing rate. It is also provides the main motor and sensory nerve supply to the face and neck via cranial nerves. 10 pairs of cranial nerves come from the brainstem. Other roles include the regulation of the central nervous system and the body's sleep cycle. It is also of prime importance in the conveyance of motor and sensory pathways from the rest of the body and from body back to the brain. These pathways include the corticospinal tract, the dorsal column medial lemniscus pathway, and the spinothalamic tract. After that, Let's talk about the right brain and the left brain. The cerebrum is divided into two halves, the right and left hemispheres. They are joined by a bundle of fibers called the corpus callosum that transmit messages from one side to other. Each hemisphere controls the opposite side of the body. If a stroke occurs on the right side of the brain, uh, your left arm or brain may be weak or paralyzed. Not all the functions of the hemispheres are shared. In general, the left hemisphere controls speech, comprehension, arithmetic, and writing. The left hemisphere controls creativity, spatial ability, artistic, and music skills. The left hemisphere is dominant in hand use and language is in about 92% of people. Then, let's talk about the lobes of the brain. The cerebral hemispheres have distinct features which divide the brain into lobes. Each hemisphere has four lobes: frontal, temporal, parietal, and occipital. Each lobe may be divided once again into areas that serve very specific functions. It's important to understand that each lobe of the brain does not function alone. There are very complex relationships between the lobes of the brain and between the right and left hemispheres. The then let's go to next slide. Frontal lobe. Frontal lobe controls personality, behavior, emotions, judgment, planning, problem solving, speaking and writing, body movement, intelligence, concentration, and self-awareness. Then let's go to the parietal lobe. It controls interpret language, words, sense of touch, pain, temperature, interpret signal from vision, hearing, motor, sensory and memory, spatial and visual perception. Then let's go to the next slide. Occipital lobe. It controls only interprets vision. Then let's talk about temporal lobe. It controls understanding language, memory, hearing, sequencing, and organization. Let's go to the next slide. Cortex. The surface of the cerebrum is called the cortex. It has a folded appearance with hills and valleys. The cortex contains 16 billion neurons that are arranged in specific layers. The nerve cell bodies cover the cortex gray-brown, giving it its name, gray matter. Beneath the cortex are long nerve fibers that connect brain areas to each other, called white matter. The cortex contains neurons which are interconnected to other brain areas by axons. The cortex has a folded appearance. A fold is called generis and the valley between is a sulcus. The folding of the cortex increases the brain surface area, allowing more neurons to fit inside the skull and enabling higher functions. Each fold is called a gyrus and each groove between folds is a sulcus. There are names for the folds and grooves that help define specific brain regions. I advise our ultimate responsibility is to avoid being subject to the dangers of our brain. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you find it useful. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. Let's meet in our next video.